Welcome back to Making the Most of the Foods in Your Pantry. So this is part of a series that Maryland Snap Ed has been producing about making the best use of foods that are coming into your home. So we started with a focus on school meals, as school meals have been free to every child in Maryland ages 2 to 18 since last March, providing uh, a spotlight on some of the counties in Maryland and how they're working food distribution, meal distribution through schools, as well as how to use some of those foods that might have been building up in your refrigerator. So we're going to continue to talk about foods coming in through school meals and making connections through the recipes to school meal foods. But we've also really turned attention to pantry foods. And so those might be foods that are already in your pantry. These tend to be inexpensive, they last a long time and can be very flexible in your cooking. But also foods that, these are the same foods that might be being provided by food pantries if you're seeking some assistance putting food in your table. This has been a very tough stretch. We're coming up on a year since the pandemic started. A lot of families are struggling for lots of reasons, and more families than ever are seeking assistance through food pantries. And we are so lucky to live in communities where these resources are available. So we want to shine a light on some of that work and some ideas for cooking with those foods, and make sure that you know that if you need help or someone else does, to look for resources in your community. So my usual items I share at the beginning, we are recording this so that we can post it on YouTube. It'll also, the recorded session will be showing up in our Facebook feed. If you're joining live, please introduce yourself in the comments with your county. If, sorry about that, with your county if you are in Maryland, or if you're from further afield, the city and state or country that you're from, and post questions and comments, and we'll touch on those throughout the session. So today we are joined by two guests. First, I'm going to introduce Michelle Fang. Michelle is our SNAP-Ed educator in one of our SNAP-Ed educators in Montgomery County, Maryland. And welcome, Michelle. I want to hear from you a little bit about school meals as well as other community food resources that are available in Montgomery County. So welcome, and let us know.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Michelle. I'm a nutrition educator in Montgomery County. So Montgomery County Public School is providing curbside meal service at over 80 sites from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. to all youth 18 and under. If you're a student over 18, you can just provide an ID at meal pickup. Meal service days are Monday, Tuesday, double meals on Wednesday, and triple meals on Friday. There's no meal service on Thursdays. In addition to that, recently they've added a bulk meal distribution to accommodate working parents 2 days a week, Tuesday and Fridays, from 7:30 to 8:30. And we ask that you please pre-order these boxes Thursday by noon the week prior. Montgomery County Public School also partners with Manda Food Center and Women Who Care Ministries to provide weekend meal bags on Fridays from 11 to 1. And so for more information on location and from what I've just shared with you, please visit the Montgomery County Public School website. A link is going to be provided in the chat.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that, Michelle. The message has always been the best place of information is your local school district's website. Throughout the pandemic, school meal distribution sites and hours have changed as schools have learned more about what people need and how to reach them right now. That's more important than ever as schools are transitioning to hybrid models. So there may be some change in site locations and hours. So make sure wherever you are, check the information that's available through your school district. We are also joined by Chris Perkins, who is with Haven Ministries in Queenstown, Maryland, in Queen Anne's County. So we have partnered with Chris through SNAP-Ed to really help promote some of the healthy foods and helping clients work with the foods that that the pantry provides, but Haven Ministries has a much larger footprint in what they're doing for foods in need, or sorry, for folks in need right now. So Chris, welcome, and please share with us the breadth of work that Haven Ministries is doing right now to serve the community.
Okay, well, thank you for having me. As Krista said, I'm Chris Perkins, and I'm the food director for the Haven Ministries Food Pantry. But before I get into the pantry itself, I'd like to talk a little bit about Haven Ministries in general. So approximately 19 years ago, a group of church individuals, beginning different churches, got together and noticed that there was a real problem with homelessness in our county, and it really wasn't being addressed at all. So the churches got together and they formed a committee and a board and actually founded the homeless shelter, which has been going on since then. So we have the shelter. The next thing that opened up was our retail store, which is the Hope Warehouse, which sells, it's a retail store which sells used furniture, used appliances, and used building supplies, and a little bit of everything else. It's kind of a neat place. It's located over here by our outlets here in Queen Anne's County. So if you want to visit, that's a really cool place to visit. And shop. And then we have our Daily Thread, which is our clothing store, which is primarily for adults. If we do, I mean, it's a selling place and we make some money off of that, but we also are able to give to our clients, those clients that need some clothing. We will be happy to provide them with some with clothing. Our headquarters itself and the food pantry has started in July of this year. We have the Resource Center connected now with our food pantry. And the Resource Center, let me tell you a little bit about the Resource Center. We have a case manager, Mary Jeter, who is actually helping me today. And Mary takes on the responsibility of anyone needing to pay a bill in Queen Anne's County. They can just come in and we can assist them as best we can, not maybe for the whole bill, but we work with other agencies in our county to provide them with paying an electric bill maybe, or rent, or for gas, or whatever they might need. We try to assist them in some way. So that's our Resource Center. The Resource Center also has a job board, and we have computers for people to come in and actually look for jobs, and we were able to assist them as best we can, our clients, with that element. The food pantry itself, again, as I said, we opened in July at the storefront, which is very cool. So now we don't have to have our drive-ups like we used to do prior to our opening in July. So we have our clients come in. They can come in once a month. They have to be a Queen Anne's County resident and show an ID. They usually have to make an appointment. We do have drop-ins, but we would prefer them to make an appointment. And our operation hours are Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, from 8:30 to 4:30. And on Tuesday, we're open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then on Saturday, the second Saturday of the month, we're open from 9 to 12. So we give them an opportunity to really get in here and be able to shop for what they want. So that's our operation itself, how we get our food. We get our food about every 4 to 5 weeks from the Maryland Food Bank. And that is actually dropped off at Safe Harbor Presbyterian Church on Kent Island, which is approximately 20 minutes from where we are physically. And so all the food is stored there. We have freezers there, and all the food is stored in a pantry there. And then every Monday, if we need it, we have a group of volunteers that actually do a food move. So we make a selection of what we need from that pantry, get a group of volunteers, pack it up in cars, bring it here to our location, unload it, and then shelve it. So we do that usually once every week on Monday nights. So we have that, and then we also get donations of food, not just from the Maryland Food Bank, but we have a great county where a lot of people donate items to us. So we have churches, we have schools, we have community organizations, and just a variety of businesses that have food drives, and we benefit from all that. So when that food all comes in, all that is marked with dates and then shelved. So it's a big process. We also get donations of other items like hats and scarves and blankets, and just an array. We have cakes, different things we do. So it's really an array of other items that we have here in our pantry, so that people really get a selection of items. And we have baby items also, food and that kind of thing, diapers. So that's our operational part. Our statistics, we started here, as I said, in July. In January, this past month, we serviced 135 people. Now that means about 425 in their household. 131 children, 54 seniors, and about 240 adults. So that's our statistics for January. We have seen, and it's been pretty steady since we opened. I know there was a big jump in the need here in our county, like beginning in April when COVID hit in March. So we have seen a steady increase in the need for people to come into our pantry. We also have, just to mention, we also have other pantries with other churches, smaller group, smaller pantries, but we do have other agencies helping with food in our county, which is great. Just to mention, we do have a food truck that we opened up in December. So our county is rather large geographically, and Sothersville area up north is about 20 miles from our location here. So it's very difficult for a lot of those clients to get here to get food. So what happened was our executive director came up with the idea of renovating actually it was a food service truck, and they renovated it. They put shelves in, so all the food can get put on the shelves in the truck. There's a ramp. People can come twice a week and actually go up and get their own food and select out of food, just like a store. It's next to a church, and the freezer section is in the church, so they still are able to get frozen food available to them up in the northern end of this county. So that's kind of cool. I have to talk about our volunteers just for a few minutes, because without our volunteers, we would not be able to operate. It is essential to have our volunteers. We have about a team about between 50 and 55 people right now who are volunteers, and they do a shift work, usually a 4-hour shift. They come in, they greet our clients, they register our clients, they assist them throughout the food pantry with whatever needs they need. If they need help out to their cars, they help them with that. Our volunteers also, when the food donations come in, they are ones to sort through all the food, make sure it's good, and label it, and then put it up on the shelf. So our volunteers are great. The other thing our volunteers do, I told you about the food move, they help with that. Then we also have a team of people once a week who actually go to a local grocery store to get pastries and bread to bring here for our clients. So that's one of the other things that our volunteers do. They're really good. So talking about the Maryland Extension Office, we have had a relationship with them, Haven Ministries, for many years, especially when we had our location, one of our drive-ups and churches was connected to the Maryland Extension Office. But here it's been a little bit difficult because of COVID to actually have trainings and doing that kind of thing. So what we did was one of our educators asked me what we could do, and we came up with an idea of, I would give her a list of the items that we have available, and then she would come up with a nutritious recipe. So I just wanted to give you a sample. We have them all available here. We have our Italian veggie soup, our corn and green bean salad, and our pancake, our pancake recipe. But over here, I just wanted to show you what we do. So we have the cans available. All our volunteers put the cans together that we have. We highlight it on the recipe, and then we staple the recipe to the bag, so that all they have to do is see that they only have to add a few items when they get home from their own pantry, and then they have a whole meal, which is nutritious and very good for them. We also have some flyers that we give to our clients when they come in about good nutrition. We have signs up around the pantry about how they can donate. If we have a company that wants to donate foods for our community, we have a good selection here that we provide to our donors. And we also have other recipes sitting around in different places so that they can just pick up a recipe and try it. It's really a cool what's the word I'm trying to say? A really good connection to our clients and to the SNAP program. So I just appreciate the time to talk about Haven Ministries and about our connection to the SNAP program. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Chris. I got to let you know there's folks in the chat commenting on what an amazing list of services you all provide. It's truly inspiring. You've been a great SNAP Ed partner, and you're truly a model for the state in terms of how you're combining, community resources, businesses, volunteers, bringing all of those things together and, feeding folks, but also thinking about how you can help them eat well. It's not just about, we want to make sure bellies are full, but we also want to make sure they're full of good food that's going to nourish folks in need. So I just can't say enough. We are going to post information in the chat for folks who want to know a little bit more about. We have your website that we'll post, or if there's anybody that's in need in Queen Anne's County or know someone who is, you can share that information with them. If you're not in Queen Anne's County, just use the internet, find resources that are available, because if you're in need, this is what these resources are here for. So thanks again, Chris. And I love that you ended with talking about sort of bundling foods around recipes, because that's what we're going to talk about today. So Michelle is going to lead us in a recipe that highlights a use for canned chicken, though you could also use canned tuna. And again, these are pantry staples that are being given out by a lot of pantries right now. So we're going to let Michelle take it from here and show us what you got going on there. And Michelle, I just will let you know, I did have to you'll have to unmute your phone there. Sorry about that.
Okay, thank you, Krista. Appreciate it. I'm really excited to share this recipe with you all today. It is our tasty tuna recipe, but we're using canned chicken instead. So the ingredients that we'll need for this recipe is 2 plum tomatoes, the juice of 1 lemon, half of a yellow onion, 2 cans of chicken and water drained, half a head of romaine lettuce, and a third cup of low-fat Italian dressing. So this recipe is awesome because I'm always looking for something that's flavorful, that's easy to prepare, and also really fun to eat. It's very kid-friendly. If you have little ones at home, they can help pre-wash the vegetables. They can help get the lettuce ready and dried. So let's start. Just gonna move my items to the side here.
And as you're getting started, Michelle, I just want to give my usual reminders. If you're just joining us, feel free to chime in on the chat with where you're joining us from and any questions or comments as we go. And we'll try to acknowledge those as we move along. So
awesome. So I'm going to start by cutting my onions. Oh, and before you start with onion, make sure you wash your hands thoroughly and your vegetables. I've already done so to speed things up. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove the ends from my onion. And you can really use whatever onion that you have available. If you prefer a milder onion, you can use red or white. Today we have a yellow onion. Just to remove the skins there. And I prefer a finer chop for this recipe, so I'm just going to go ahead and dice my onions.
And onions can be a little strong for some palates. We talked a little bit about that you could use spring onions with this, the green onions. Those can be a little bit more mild, or if onions aren't your thing, you can leave them out, or you can do less of them.
Absolutely.
One thing that I do sometimes is if I have onions served raw on something, is if you put a little lemon juice on them, that takes some of the sting out of them, some of the bite.
Right, certainly mellows it out. Okay, so my onions are nice and ready. I'm just gonna push them over to the side. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and dice my plum tomatoes. Now, I use plum tomatoes today because it's a little firmer, but if you have cherry tomatoes or any other varieties that you prefer, you can use that as well. So I'm just gonna remove the ends.
And cherry tomatoes are one thing that you might be seeing if you are picking up school meals. Cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes are often served as a side by some school meal programs. And cutting a cherry tomato in half is a job that a young kid can do with a serrated knife. It's one of the things my almost 3-year-old daughter likes to do.
Okay, so now my veggies are nice and chopped. I'm gonna go ahead and cut my lemon in half, but before I do that, I'm just gonna give it a nice little roll here, just to make it a little softer. Cut my lemon in half. Okay, so now that that's all ready, if you wanna just go ahead and grab a medium-sized bowl here, and go ahead and start adding the ingredients. So I'm gonna toss in my canned chicken. This was drained 2 cans of white chicken breast meat here. And I'm gonna go ahead and add my lemon juice. So the juice of 1 lemon. I'm gonna catch the seeds with my hands. If you have a strainer, you can use that as well, whatever works best for you.
And this would be a good use for leftover chicken that you might have as well. And we also talked about that you could use canned tuna as well.
Absolutely. Okay, next I'm gonna toss in my vegetables. So I'm gonna add my chopped tomatoes. My chopped onions. Okay, and a 1/3 cup of low-fat Italian dressing. If you have other dressing on hand, or if that's what you prefer, you can use that as well. But today we're going to use this one here. We're going to toss that right in. And then just give it a gentle toss. This is a really, really delicious and flavorful recipe. It's so easy to make and it's just so much fun. And really, that's it.
And we're gonna post in the chat a recipe for a vinaigrette dressing if you wanted to try making your own dressing.
Yes, so now I'm gonna go ahead and get my lettuce leaves ready. You can use, this is romaine lettuce, but you can also use iceberg lettuce or even butter lettuce if you have that available.
So one thing I think about with this recipe is one of the things that, or one of the major messages of my plate is that when you're putting food on your plate, fruits and vegetables should take up half your plate. And so, but very often we're not eating foods all in their separate food groups, but I think this gives a really good idea of how that can look when you really make the vegetables sort of a shining star of the meal, and you still have your protein in there from the chicken, but you've really got a lot of vegetables riding along for the ride on that. So this is a really delicious way, and they look so cute in those little lettuce leaves.
Yeah, they're really fun to eat. You can serve it as is, or what I like to do is, here I have some extra veggies on hand at home. I have some red peppers that I've sliced and julienned, and I also have some carrots and some celery. So like I said, you can have the recipe as is, or you can top it off with whatever vegetables that you like. And this is really fun for the family. You know, they can customize their lettuce wraps and it makes it so much more fun.
That's great. And the carrots, celery, and red peppers or cucumbers, those are all things that might be coming with school meals as well. So this is a great use for those. So thank you for that. That is beautiful. One thing we talk about in SNAP-Ed is when you're encouraging kids to try new foods, sometimes giving it a silly name can be helpful. And I look at those and I want to call them, you know, chicken veggie canoes or something like that. So, you know, that can take a trip to your belly. So thank you, Michelle. While you finish up there, we are going to take a look at a resource that SNAP-Ed has available. We have a series of handouts called Cooking 5 Ways, and they feature pantry staples that, again, you might be getting from a food pantry or that you already have in your pantry, and some just creative things that you can do with those to use them in your cooking. And so what you'll see up here is a list of 5 different things. So, and we'll post a recipe that gives you a very concrete way for each of those. So the first thing that it mentions is soup. So we're going to share a link to a recipe for chicken noodle soup. in the chat. But what do you think about that, Michelle, in terms of other thoughts for using canned chicken in soups?
That sounds wonderful. I like to do a chicken tortilla soup, so I'll add canned chicken, drained canned chicken into that. Also, in the cooler days, I like to do a roasted root veggie soup. So all you really need is to roast your vegetables like beets, carrots, potatoes, and then throw in some drained canned chicken into the broth, and it's really, really delicious.
That does sound delicious. So the next thing on there is lettuce wraps, which we obviously just made lettuce wraps. So, but these are really, really flexible. So we'll put up a different recipe that you could follow for lettuce wraps. But what are some other ways you could modify the lettuce wrap recipe?
Okay, so you can certainly change up the dressing a little bit. If you don't want to use low-fat Italian dressing, you can use another type of low-fat dressing. And then you can throw in some sprouts, crushed peanuts. That's really nice as well. If you're looking for something that's a non-meat version, I recommend throwing in some chickpeas. So you can add a little bit of curry spice to that, cook those chickpeas up and put them right on your lettuce wrap. And that makes a really great non-meat option.
Great. Yeah. And chickpeas are another pantry item that you might have and be looking for new ideas of how to use. Burritos are the next recommendation. So we have a chicken and black bean salsa burrito recipe that we're going to post. Are you a burrito fan, Michelle?
I love burritos. I actually just had one earlier this week.
Fantastic. Yeah. And they're quick and easy. Make ahead dinner. You can make the filling and then just wrap them and be ready to go. Salads. So salads are obviously a salad can be anything you want it to be. And we've talked about this before, the idea that you can make salads a main dish by not just having it be, just the vegetables, but also adding protein that can help kind of fill your belly and make you feel satiated. The recipe we're going to put up is a crunchy chicken salad. What are some things that you like to include in your salads, Michelle?
I like to put some sweet potatoes in my salad, something hearty, to make the salad a little bit warm. But if we're talking about like a chicken salad, creamy chicken salad, I like to add some grapes, some celery, a lot of those items you can find from your school meal. So it's a great way to incorporate that into a quick lunch or even an easy dinner.
Yeah, grapes go great with chicken salad. It's one of those things that until you've had it, you might sound strange, but it is a really good
Yeah.
combination. And then last but not least, pasta. Everybody loves pasta. So we have a recipe for a tuna pasta casserole. You could also substitute canned chicken in that. But again, it's another sort of my plate concept. You get your grains, your protein, and your veggies, and then you can sort of some dairy or fruit on the side. So I think I've been kind of in a more of a casserole mode lately myself.
Yeah, that sounds delicious. I love casseroles. It's a quick and easy one-pot dish, and it feeds the whole family. It's great with the next day as well. So, this using canned chicken or even canned tuna are great ways to make casserole. You just throw that in with some veggies and pasta, and then you have a delicious dinner for your whole family.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Michelle, for your wonderful demonstration. And thank you to everyone that joined us. Thank you to Haven Ministries for the work that they're doing in their community and for sharing that with us and hopefully inspiring others. Let's pull up our last slide. We do have one more scheduled Facebook Live on the docket right now, but we'll be announcing our spring lineup soon. We're getting together plans to continue this series, especially as we move into springtime, but do join us next week for the peanut butter snacktivities. So if you haven't heard of a snacktivity, it's an activity that is fun, you can get kids involved in and yields a snack. And so make sure that you like our Facebook page if you haven't already and turn on notifications so that you can join the live broadcast. We'll go to the next slide because we want to make sure you know where to find our resources. So all of our recipes come from eatsmart.umd.edu, which is, so you can search recipes by ingredient, which is really handy if you have something that you really need to use or want to try a new way to use. Facebook, if you're watching this live, you've already found your way there. But if you're watching the recorded version, make sure that you follow us so that you can get access to these live live sessions, but also lots of different resources and tips and ideas for eating well and being active. And then these recorded videos are posted on YouTube in a playlist. Our Making the Most playlist has every Facebook Live recording, but there's also lots of resources there, recipe videos. There's great nutrition education resources there as well. So we hope to see you back here next week, March 4th at 11 a.m. for some feature on peanut butter. And in the future as well, we hope you'll join us. And again, check with your school district if you need to pick up school meals. If you need additional help, look for resources in your community because if you need help, it's out there. So thanks so much, and we will see you next week.